Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. And this is a paid request from Bronson, who wanted me to re-review this film called Norbit. So, before I get into it, number one, yes, I reviewed this 5 or so years ago, but Bronson sent in a lot of very generous paid requests, and they were all re-reviews, which I'm perfectly fine. Because, like I said, if you want to have a movie review or a re-review, a topic, a tier list, a ranking, video game playthrough for an hour, a full playthrough, a commentary, reaction, random thoughts, streams, commentaries, whatever the case may be, PayPal's the best way to do it. Do have a Cash App as well. Links are down below in the info box that I will get to as soon as I possibly can. If those who sent them, thank you. I do appreciate your patience and your generosity, so thank you. Also, yes, I know this is a different angle and there's going to be some background noise, but there's stuff I'm doing at the same time as this, and it's going to take time for that to get done. So I'm waiting for this to get done. Why not pop up a couple reviews for Bronson, who, again, is very generous, so thank you, man. Now, like I said before, yes, Norbit. I did review this 5 or so years ago. I think that review is up. I think I broke the disc, if I did, it deserved it. Because rewatching this film, I feel the same way now as I did back then. This is one of the worst. I go back and forth now if it's this or Coming to America 2 as the worst Eddie Murphy film I've seen. Him playing three characters that are all awful, terrible, annoying people, and fart jokes and a shitload of fat jokes, or a movie where Leslie Jones drugged Eddie Murphy, had sex with him, and that's all for jokes and chuckles. Like Coming to America. I don't know which is worse. I really don't. I still might say this one's worse, but you catch me another day, I might say Coming to America 2. Anyway, this is directed by Brian Robbins, who directed Varsity Blues, which I don't mind that film. Ready to Rumble with David Arquette, which, hell, I would rather watch that film than this movie. And this guy does not work well with Eddie Murphy, because he also did Meet Dave, where Eddie Murphy played a starship, but he also played the commander of the people inside the Eddie Murphy starship, and then 1,000 Words, which I thought was a really lame, lackluster film. There's a reason why people don't remember that movie. And I know there are people that liked this film. There's people who enjoy this film. There's people who think this film is hilarious. If you do, that's cool. To each their own. I'm with the 9%. Rotten Tomatoes 9%. So that's 91% who thought the film sucked. I'm with the 91%. Same with, has a 4.2 out of 10 IMDb. I'm with the people that gave it 1s and 2s and such. I'm with them. And my stomach is too, if you heard that. Because the cast, you got Eddie Murphy, Tandy Newton, Terry Crews, Cuba Gooding Jr., Eddie Griffin, Cat Williams. Yeah, makeup effects by Rick Baker, who worked with Eddie Murphy on The Nutty Professor. And this film made some money. It made about $95 million when it came out in the U.S. I don't know if this is true, but some people say that this film ruined his chance to get the Oscar for Dreamgirls. I don't know if that's the case, because they should be judging that film, not this film. But if they saw this and this was embedded in their brain like a fucking virus, and so they just had a spasm, it's for the spasm. Nah, I can't. I'm sorry, Eddie Murphy, you fucked up. You fucked up, man. You did Norbit. Fuck your Oscar. There may be people who did that, and you know what? Barbie can't blame them. Because while this is not the worst comedy, or even the second worst comedy, probably not even the third worst comedy I've ever seen, it would probably be in the top 10. Because I found nothing about this funny. I thought it was really lame, and how it was doing the stereotypes and the tropes, and Eddie Murphy and Charlie Murphy. Charlie Murphy, rest in peace. Great talent. I know, of course, Eddie loved his brother a lot, but those two did not work well together. Vampire in Brooklyn, I think, was another one they did together, and I did not like that film, and this is even worse. And Eddie Murphy saying he got the idea because he saw videos of smaller guys getting the shit kicked out of them by bigger ladies. I don't find that shit funny. I mean, I don't know what's funny about that. I guess I just don't have the same sense of humor as Eddie does. And it's one of those films where he plays multiple characters. I'm not a fan of that Eddie Murphy. Like, Coming to America, the original, I don't mind, but it's not a favorite of mine. The Nutty Professor, which that's actually Nutty Professor 1 and 2 are other reviews that he wants me to redo. Bronson, that is. And I'll say here, I'm not a fan of those movies. Because the Eddie Murphy I prefer, that I attached myself to as a fan, was Beverly Hills Cop, Beverly Hills Cop 2, 48 Hours, The Golden Child, where he uses his wit and uses his greatness of improvisation to get himself out of situations and go on this journey with the character, and maybe there's a little bit of action in there or just a little bit of excitement in there, but him putting on makeup and playing 3 or 4 or 5 different characters just never appealed to me. That's just not the type of Eddie Murphy humor I'm into. And it seems like when he's not so much Coming to America, but the other films, it devolves into fat jokes and it devolves into fart jokes. And they're not so much Coming to America, but Night Professor, half the jokes are fat jokes or fart jokes. Same with Night Professor 2. Night Professor 1, I'll give a little bit of credit where there's at least a bit more heart to it, because Sherman is much more of a likable guy compared to the characters in this. But Night Professor 2 is in the same league as this, but this one, from plain Mr. Wan, who owns this Golden Wonton Chinese restaurant, and the joke is that one day Norbit, he's a baby, he's thrown out the window. The Asian guy, played also by Eddie Murphy, picks him up, talks about how ugly he is, even for a black baby. So he's playing a very racist Asian character, as in he's racist against black people, and but also the way he plays it is so stereotypical, is so over the top, and I know that's supposed to be the case. If I played a black guy the way Eddie Murphy played an Asian guy, I would be up in Harlem, upside down, with my nuts cut off and sewn into my mouth, and a fire hydrant jammed up my ass, sideways. Think you could do that well? Sure. Robert Downey Jr., Tropic Thunder. Very funny movie, very funny performance. But there's more to it about how he's taken it so far, and he's taken it so to a extreme of being in character, and the other characters comment on it, and they say how weird it is, and there's more wit and satire to that. This is the shit that we would give crap to Rob Schneider doing. And I'm not even... Like, Rob Schneider, wasn't it... I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry? Where he did that kind of thing? And it's not that, oh, I'm offended. I just don't think the shit's funny. I really don't. It's not because, oh, I'm offended or I get easily offended. Hell, I liked Andrew Dice Clay and that type of humor. I saw a fucking film called Jekyll and Hyde Together Again, where one of the jokes is, hey, doctor, hey, surgeon, this woman has a foreign object in her vagina, and he goes, and then an Asian guy pops up. So the foreign object is Asian guy. So, I mean, un-PC jokes I can laugh at. I just didn't think this was funny. I just thought it was lazy. I just thought it was very stereotypical, and there wasn't any wit to it. There wasn't any satire to it. It was just, again, imagine if I played a black guy the same way that he played an Asian guy in this. I would be killed. I would be drawn and quartered. And the plot is that he grows up, and the Chinese restaurant is also an orphanage. He meets this girl, and they become friends. And actually, the young Norbit is the kid from Daddy Daycare, which I didn't realize that until now. Because that's actually a film I don't mind. And one of the things I liked was the little kid and Eddie Murphy, and they played father and son, and I thought... So I guess Eddie Murphy was a fan of the kid, because brought him over to this to play a younger version of himself. So I thought that was nice to see. Again, I didn't even realize it until watching it again. I'm like, is that the same kid? Yeah, it's the same kid who played his son in Daddy Daycare. So that was cool. But the jokes, the script, is god fucking awful. Where it's him narrating about how him and this girl interacted as kids, and we even pooped together. Because that's, a joke. But then that girl got picked up for a family, and while Norbit's still at the orphanage, among other stuff, this big girl comes up and goes, I'm Rasputia, and you're my boyfriend now. And she has 3 brothers, and one of them is Terry Crews. One of them, I think, is Clifton Powell, and I forget the other guy. Again, everything's just so stereotypical. Where Rasputia grows up, and Eddie Murphy plays the 3 roles. Plays Norbit, who is so fucking pathetic, and I don't really care about the accent he has for it, the way he talks. He's such a pathetic fucking loser that it's hard to root for him. A movie that did that well was Bowfinger, where I think it was Kit, his character name. Like, you felt sorry for him, and he was very likable. Here, not so much. Just too pathetic. Then he plays Rasputia, and just an endless amount of unfunny, stupid as fuck fat jokes. She's so fat she can't fit in the car and her titty hits the horn. She's so fat she goes down the water slide with the help of CGI and flies up and causes a huge chasm of water to erupt. She's so fat when she runs, everything explodes. She's so fat when she runs to her husband to have sex, they crush the bed. And they play that joke like 7 times. With every damn, like, holiday, Christmas, whatever, and again and again and again, because you get it? She's fat. She's fat, she's fat, she's fat, she's fat, she's fat. Fat, fat, fat. Fat. Sound like fucking Scott Steiner. You fat. Fucking fat. Yeah, I did. Fat, fat, fat. Fat. F-A-T. Fucking atrociously terrible. Or a fucking awful turd, which is what this movie is. There you go. There's your fat. Fucking awful turd. Equals this movie. So he's going through a horrible time, and he is unhappy, but he's married to Rasputia. The 3 brothers of hers, they go around collecting money and being complete bullies. And then one day, his childhood friend, Tandy Newton, comes in. And Tandy Newton, I don't mind her as an actress. She seems like a sweet lady. She can't save the film. Her fiance is Cuba Gooding Jr. And I like Cuba Gooding Jr., I don't know as a person, but as an actor I liked. But anybody could play this role. He's a guy that is two-faced, very, very predictable. And she wants to help out the kids in her neighborhood, but he doesn't. So he goes behind her back to work with Rasputia's brothers to get a strip club going. And he's going to marry her and steal all her money because he's done it before. You know, this is a very typical two-faced prick cheating boyfriend. Cat Williams and Eddie Griffin, the only slight joke that might work is they're pimps or former pimps that own this steak place. Or if not steak, your food place, I should say. Like ribs. It's not steak, it's like more ribs. And I find it very funny watching this again. Eddie Griffin, I don't mind as an actor. I have never been a Cat Williams fan. And that, going off tangent, that fucking interview he did where everyone on the internet praised him. Hercules, Hercules, Hercules. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, he said something about a couple people that was already known. But he also said a lot of bullshit. I don't think he fucking read, what was it, 1,000 books in however many years he did. And I don't think Harvey Weinstein said, please, Cat Williams, may I suck your dick in front of everybody. I have a hard time believing that. But also, he went on this tirade about women, about black men wearing women's dresses. And it's a way for Hollywood and the white man to keep the black man down. Motherfucker, you were in a goddamn movie where, lo and behold, a black man wore a dress, and it was Eddie Murphy as Rasputia. But you're in the goddamn movie, and Eddie Murphy and Charlie Murphy wrote the shit, and you didn't say a fucking thing. Why didn't anybody mention that? Hey, Cat, you were in Norbit, where Eddie Murphy wore a fucking dress and played a woman. I mean, you could also mention the dozens and dozens of comedy aspects where white guys did it. Mrs. Doubtfire, Chris Farley, Davey Spade, and Adam Sandler and such on Saturday Night Live. Jack Lemmon back to the day for Some Like It Hot. I'm on a shitload of other examples. But okay, Cat Williams. Again, pretty fucking hypocritical. They complain about black men wearing women's clothes in movies. And you were in Norbit. Now, maybe because nobody remembered fucking Norbit, which I don't blame you, or they don't remember Cat Williams being in Norbit. But yeah, if you had such a big fucking deal, if you had a big fucking stirred up your ass about it, why didn't you confront Eddie Murphy? Eddie, you're not supposed to be wearing, women's clothes for comedy. No, because you're a bitch and you're fucking pussy. You're a two-faced prick. And for some reason, for 15 minutes, people called you a hero, which I don't think you deserve. You deserve a middle finger and a tit in the ass, you short little fuck. Hypocritical bitch. Again, for people who think I'm wrong, again, answer me this, Batman. Riddle me this. Why is he complaining about that? Oh, black women being in women's clothes, but he was perfectly fine cashing that paycheck being in Norbit, where Eddie Murphy fucking did it. Oh, and Eddie Murphy also did it in The Nutty Professor. Playing the mom, Hercules. But no, you don't want to talk shit about Eddie Murphy. You fucking bitch. And I love Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy's one of my favorite comedians. I love a lot of his movies. Now, as of late, I would say I like Beverly Hills Cop 4, which not a lot of people did, but I liked it. And I liked the Dolomite one. Coming to America 2 was fucking awful. But anyway, and so was You People. That was awful too. But anyway, I had to get that out of there. The script. The script has jokes where when he's the Asian guy, Mr. One, Eddie Murphy says alive instead of alive. You see the wedding of Eddie and Rasputia, and then again, shitload of fat jokes. Marlon Wayans, he's also in the film as his fitness instructor. We need to penetrate and percolate. His character almost got a few chuckles out of me, almost. But He's cheating on. He's cheating with Rasputia. Norbit finds out, says, "You're the queen of whores." She runs after him. He runs away. He finds his old friend Tandy Newton, is excited about it. Finds out later she's got a boyfriend. Rasputia is a horrible, horrendous, despicable person that will willingly run over and hit a cute little dog because she feels like it. She lies about being pregnant, which she doesn't even take that too far because literally within a few days she's just, oh yeah, I lied. It was just gas. I mean, okay. It just feels like a lot of the movie is a lot of fat shaming too. Where if any, that's the thing. If there was at least one overweight person that was a decent person, but just like a consistent amount of fat jokes, fat jokes, fat jokes. Oh my god, how funny is it that someone who's fat and ugly is washing a car? Because this was Rasputia does at one point. And just the concept, I don't find the idea of this fat woman beating up this small, pathetic guy as a source of entertainment and comedy. Imagine if it was reversed. Imagine if it was about a fat man abusing a frail, pathetic woman. Yeah, you wouldn't think that was fucking funny either. It's just Norbit's too fucking pathetic. Consistent amount of fart jokes. For example, when Norbit finds out, no, Rasputia isn't pregnant, she farts and goes, "There's your child." Sometimes there are dialogue that they say way too fucking often. Like, what you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? She'll say that Eddie Murphy as Rasputia says that an inordinate amount of times. That's not funnier each time it's been said. More fat jokes. They go to the water park. The guy's like, "Are you naked down there?" No. She puts up the fat folds and has a bikini bottom. Slide, water slide flies off. This is the equivalent of Jack and Jill. Like the way how awful Jack and Jill was for Adam Sandler, this is how it is for Eddie Murphy. This is Eddie Murphy's version of Jack and Jill. Oh, another movie where a white guy wears a dress. Cat Williams. Because that's a typical trope of comedy. It's nothing to do with some fucking secret agenda by Hollywood to take the black man. And like, Eddie Murphy wore dresses in movies he was part of and wrote, like this film. Plenty of white guys like Adam Sandler fucking did it. Robert Williams. Like, Jesus Christ. Benny Hill. British comedy. Monty Python. Kids in the Hall. I don't know, idea. That just... Anyway. So during the plot, Eddie Murphy and Norbit and Tandy Newton, they get more and more friendly with each other. And you tell deep down they want to be with each other. Troubadour Jr. and Rasputia's brothers screw them over. Tandy Newton finds out. Norbit lies and says some bad stuff to her because Rasputia said, if you get near her again, I'm going to hurt her. So Norbit fakes not liking her so that she'll go away, and it's his way protecting her. Eventually, Tandy and Troubadour Jr.'s wedding are coming up. Norbit's like, you know what, I need to stop it. You have this bike ride. That's a chase sequence. Gets to the wedding. Norbit invited Troubadour Jr.'s ex-wives. proves that he's a two-timing piece of shit. The brothers and Rasputia try to attack Norbit. The town defend Norbit. It ends with Mr. Wan throwing a harpoon at Rasputia's ass, and she runs around with the help of CG or whatever. Like, I don't know, this not glare, but this, you see a little bit of like After Effects they put into it, and she's running around like a cartoon. And apparently Norbit and Tandy Noon, they get married. And Rasputia and her brothers went to Mexico or something, started a bar, and she's stripteasing. And they do an ode to Flashdance. It's just an ugly, unfunny movie that has the bottom of the barrel, lazy, unfunny jokes about fat and being Asian and being a pathetic worm of a guy. Like, as in a pathetic, scrawny guy is a better way to put it. Up to a point, Marlon Wayne's character pretty much disappears. Or, I mean, you don't really hear much of him again. It's like they set him up to be a bigger part. It's when Norbit finds out he's cheating, and then there's another point where, oh, go ahead, have at it. Then after that, you never really see much of Marlon Wayans again, except maybe in the audience of the wedding at the end, but he stops becoming a character in the second half. Eddie Griffin and Cat Williams, they pop up every once in a while. They try to be distraction to hold off the wedding at the end. Kurt Dune Jr., anybody who could have played his role. Like I said, Cat Williams, I'm just not a fan of him. He's a two-faced piece of shit. Eddie Griffin, some of his stuff I got a little bit of a smirk from. Tandy Noon plays Sweet very well, but I don't care who you got, I would not have saved the movie. It's Eddie Murphy. It's the script. It's the script and just I keep repeating the laziest, unfunniest jokes about how ugly and fat Rasputia is. Her comeuppance, I don't think was that satisfying. If finally Norbit did stuff to, like, all the times Rasputia beat up him, if he finally was able to stand up to her and battle her and stop her, or if maybe Tandy Newton comes in and fights Rasputia, and Tandy Newton's like, no, he's my man now, and I'm going to protect my man. And Tandy Newton was fighting and beating up fucking Rasputia. I think that would have been more satisfying. Or again, to really show, I mean, I guess this to show the courage that Norbit is having by standing up to it. But at the same time, it's like, well, that's fine and dandy, but at the same time, I'm kind of sitting there going, okay, but it's just him getting beat up and still people helping him out. Whether the townsfolk or whether the Mr. Wan. And yeah, I guess you say Tandy Newton, but at least like that'd be a nice back and forth of two women, one played by Eddie Murphy and the other Tandy, fighting. Like, all his life, Norbit has had a woman beating him up, and now here's a woman fighting for him. That'd be kind of like a nice gesture. And give Tandy Newton something to do. Or just, maybe Norbit uses his wits. Maybe Norbit uses his smarts. Maybe Norbit uses creativity to defeat the brothers. I don't know, just something about the ending felt just lackluster to me. And what a waste of Rick Baker's talent. I know he got nominated for an Oscar for this film for the makeup effects, but just what a waste of time for him to do this fucking movie for these effects. And I mean, are they really Oscar-worthy effects? I mean, I guess to be nominated. Although maybe it was a slow ass year. I don't know. But yeah, everything I said 5 years ago, I stand by, and then some. It's that funny. I know humor is subjective. This is my subjective. If you liked it, that's cool. If you think it's funny, that's cool. If you find it hilarious, that's cool. What are the jokes that you found funny? What's the humorous set piece you found funny? It's just an ugly film that has the most typical, stereotypical aspects to it in terms of the characters. I don't really care about anybody in the film, at least not a whole lot. The music, forgettable. The direction, basic if that. At times there's some dodgy CG like effects, like the water slide bit. And it's just dog shit. If I had the fucking Norbit disc, I would rip it again. Break it again. So all I can do is just a piece of paper and just symbolism of fuck this fucking movie. Fuck this fucking film. Such horse shit. So, with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye bye.